Good morning. And I'd like to thank the Mississippi Economic Council for inviting me here today. Envy, greed, gluttony, sloth, lust, anger, and pride, which we all know goes before a fall. These are your 7 deadly sins, and these are the sins that plague our state leaders. I am your friend if you're an incumbent, because I'm trying to keep you out of hell. I am Charles Graham, your Democratic nominee for Secretary of State. Just who am I? I am not a conservative. I am not a liberal, but I'm a moderate. Similar to my predecessor, who was the first black man to hold the position of Secretary of State, Mr. Hiram Rhodes Revels, who was also a Republican, a great man. So I'm standing on his shoulders, but not only on his shoulders, but the shoulders of many other great ones who have gone before me, like Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, James Meredith, and one of my favorites, Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, because quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of broken and corrupt state leaders. I am well qualified and a hard worker. Many of you know my body of work. I'm not here to convince any of you to vote for me. You're educated and well-informed voters. Your minds have been made up. But I intend to tell you what I'm going to do as your next Secretary of State. I will make the Secretary of State's office responsible again. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. And not just a privileged few. My opponent continues to ignore the state Supreme Court's ruling on 16 section lands. In some instances, it is given away. He has taken the school districts and school boards' authority away from them. When elected, I plan to give it back to them. I plan to bring transparency to economic developments like the Kemper County Power Plant. Now, I know we don't have a public service candidate here to speak on the Kemper County Power Plant, so I'm going to take liberty and have a little fun with it. I know that Southern Power is one of your benefactors. I understand that. But just like you, I also do my homework. It is a travesty to this state what is going on in Kemper and Lauderdale counties. We are raping the land. We are mining a substance called lignite, which is poor man's coal. It has a high moisture content. Its cost versus its benefit is low. It only benefits a few. It's lignite. And I'm not going to say if a disaster will happen, but when. Because 2 of the byproducts are carbon monoxide and anhydrous ammonia. And anhydrous is without water. one of the 10 most commonly extremely hazardous substances. So, but $8 billion later, and almost 10 years later, here we are. So we have no choice but to make it work. Now, I'm going to leave that alone. We must invest in renewable clean energy, solar and wind. We have an abundance of that in the state, but the powers that be don't want it, because you and I can sell and generate electricity and sell it back to the power company. That's why I want to give the power back to the people. I have no personal agenda. It has been rumored that my opponent has garnered $1 million in his war chest for a $90,000 a year job. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, when you do that, people are expecting favors from you, and you're going to give them some. You may not grant all of them, but you're going to do some of them. You're going to be a puppet. You're going to be a lapdog. You're going to forget about integrity and morality. You're going to forget about the poor, the elderly, the sick. I will push for early voting like our neighbors in Tennessee and Louisiana and 33 other states in the nation. Win, lose, or draw, these are still issues that plague Mississippi, and we don't have to always be last. We can be 34th. My opponent should shake my hand. He has been very busy because he has been in Warren County, Hancock County, Lauderdale County, LaFleur County, Washington County, and Forest County, holding special tax sales of abandoned properties. Believe it or not, my friends, he has his hands indirectly in the crime situation in many of these neighborhoods. He has depressed your property values. He's sitting on $62 billion worth of inventory. Now, let me tell you something else. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to say something about TANF and the state legislature. We've got to start doing our jobs. We've got to put the special interests aside. We tested 55,579 TANF recipients for drugs, illegal drugs. Only 8 tested positive. That equates to 0.14%. $36,000 a year is costing us, but I estimate the cost is more around $50,000, just to tell us that we didn't really need it. You don't have the best and brightest. We have a beautiful land here. It's rich and promising. Itawamba County, very beautiful. We've got to develop I-22 corridor. The 16 section lands is necessary for economic development, and it's for our schools. And if there's any candidate up here that doesn't embrace education in this state, it's something wrong with him. Run him out of town. I'm going to say that we will never get off the bottom until we address education, because we have an untrained and an unreliable workforce. I was speaking with a furniture maker in Tupelo. She can't hire the hourly workers because they're not available because of drugs and public assistance. So we've got a big job to do. I don't need the money. I could be in the Caribbean somewhere, but I'm not. I'm here. because I can make a difference. I don't have an agenda. I'm not corrupt. My name is Charles Graham. I'm your next Secretary of State. It's not about black and white. It's about green. Thank you.